Hey, it's Drew here with Haywood Auto Detailing. Wanted to kind of talk to you guys today a little bit, I guess first about the weather we've been having. So here in Indiana this past week, we had about an inch of snow every day, every morning of the week. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I think even a little bit Thursday. So it's been kind of nasty. It's been really nasty out. In fact, I daily drive about an hour and a half every day on a pretty curvy road. You know, you usually get stuck behind someone going slow, so get a lot of salt, all the slush, all the gross road clearing minerals they use caked all over your vehicles. It's disgusting this week. Really popular week for people to go use automatic car washes. Please don't do that. That is the #1 way to scratch your clear coat if it's brushed. Like certain name brands, which we shouldn't mention. Even without a brushed car wash, the chemicals, you just can't guarantee that they are a neutral pH to keep your ceramic coat safe. So, I want to talk about what I do to clean my vehicle off now that it's starting to thaw out.
Oh yeah, she's unthawing good.
I'm sure everyone's going to want to clean their vehicle. Let me show you my truck though, it's disgusting. Alright, so without further ado, as you can see, snow's still melting, but Lexi's having fun now that it's a little bit warm. But we have this absolutely caked truck with salt. Every day this past week, just blasted in the morning with fresh, slushy salt. Stuck behind people, so it's all over the windshield and everything, especially the front end. I actually went through an entire gallon of wiper fluid this week, if it tells you just how bad the roads were. With that said though, you know, the ceramic, I've got the G-Technic CSU Crystal Serum Ultra ceramic on this, and you can tell it just kind of brushes right off, like it's just sitting on the surface, which is good, because it's not like super difficult to get off at that point. Got this truck last fall, or I guess last spring, but I failed to put the undercoating on. So definitely need to get that frame cleaned off today so that I don't start rusting. That is the priority. So I'll show you guys how I do that. And once I get this thing cleaned up and it stops silting for the winter, I am going to go ahead and get some undercoating on it. There's a guy here in Columbus, Indiana at Linex that also does undercoating. So without further ado, let's get busy. All right, let's talk chemicals. What are we going to use? For both the undercarriage and the paint, with this mixture I'm going to make, first one is Iron X. So this is what I call my liquid clay bar. It's not just for stripping salt off. Of course, it doesn't do quite as good of a job as a real clay bar, especially when you're wanting a real fine, smooth finish. But it is a good starting point, especially right before you wash the vehicle, to kind of break everything up, break all the fallout, all the iron contaminants off. If you see some of my pictures and videos, I'm sure you've also seen other detailers posting, you know, when the car bleeds, right? You have this chemical sitting on the paint for a while and it just bleeds purple on contact to iron. So pretty cool stuff. Smells really bad. I've used this chemical for the better part of 10 years, but I know today they're now making it scented. You can get a lemon scented version. I'm just used to the traditional Iron X, so I'm probably just going to stick to that. Don't necessarily need the scents, right? But 1 part Iron X for this mixture today, and 1 part G-Technic W9 water spot remover. This water spot remover is actually made to take the water spots off of the ceramic coat. Like, let's say you've got a nice ceramic coat on your car, but it's sat out in the rain for a while, right? So now you got water spots on the top of your hood, but there's nothing else. Otherwise, the car's clean. You wash it, you still got water spots. What do? This stuff. This is what it's made for. So ceramic is actually pretty prone to water spotting. If you have that issue, you know, give me a call or whatever. We can kind of work. I can give you some of this to try. We can try some different chemicals and stuff, but it's prone to it because instead of the minerals in your water soaking into the paint, it's just sitting on the top. So this stuff's really good at getting that off, and it's ceramic safe. It's still pH neutral, which is kind of why we're using it today, because it removes minerals, aka salt, and it's pH neutral, ceramic safe. 1 part Iron X, 1 part water spot remover, and 2 parts water. That's what we're using today. All right, I've got my mixture made. One thing I wanted to mention before we start though, there are better chemicals to getting salts off, aka vinegar, but those are definitely not safe on ceramic and really not the best thing for your paint in general, just because it's high in acidity. Obviously, you can use it, especially if you are very careful to make sure you get everything off, but just to be on the safe side, especially when you're dealing with an undercoating where you got lots of nooks and crannies on the undercarriage, I just say avoid it. These chemicals work just as well or better, in my opinion, and they're safe. Also need to mention that once we're done with the undercarriage, I'll scrub where I can with the chemical after the chemicals sit for maybe 10-15 minutes, but then ultimately just pressure wash the underside to get it all off. There are pressure washers that you can buy, or attachments to your pressure washer you can buy, that are just to be able to get the undercoating pretty easily, especially if you got smaller cars. My truck, I'm just going to use brute force. Be crawling underneath it with a pressure washer. It's going to get cold, it's going to get wet. That's just what I do. Once we're done with that though, the undercoating, just use that chemical that we talked about, that mixture we talked about, and then do the same thing to the paint on the outside. Actually, I'll rinse it real good first with a pressure washer just to get knock the loose off, right? And then we use that mixture with Iron X and water spot remover. Let that soak for 10-15 minutes, let it bleed out the paint. Rinse that, and then I will today be using the Mega Foam by Adams Polishes. This is the soap that Adams has. I like it. It's not necessarily, I don't think I have a favorite car soap. I mean, the biggest thing you got to look for is pH neutral. As long as it's a pH neutral soap, it's good to go. This is also, in my opinion, pretty good with a foam cannon, where it just snow foams all over the car. It stays on there to really soak before you start brushing it. So that was just rinsing it off with a pressure washer. I was actually pretty impressed just how well that alone did with the ceramic on the paint. Even the frame, I mean, the frame's still in pretty good shape too, so that helps. But a little pressure washer action, that helps kind of start things off. Now I'm gonna let it drip a little bit so I don't get myself soaked underneath, and spray down the underside. Let that soak for about 10 minutes. Rinse the underside, and then do the same thing to the body. One thing about this too, you might have seen me with the pressure washer too, but when I'm with the pressure washer, I'll often get the opposite side of the frame that I'm on while I'm spraying, because it's harder to reach this side, and if you do try to get it, you just get blasted in your face. So opposite side of what you're on is what you're spraying. So I'll do that right hand side first, and then go to the other side and do the left hand side of the frame. With trucks on the bed sides, you can actually spray behind the body, like between the bed and the body. Usually where things start rusting anyway. So especially up under that wheel well, if you can really spray up in there, the better. Of course, this area of a truck, more on the left-hand side than the right-hand side, but this area, especially up under that wheel, is very prone to rust. Between the frame and the body side here, really spray up into there too. Alright, now we're gonna put the body soaked with the same thing. Clean ourselves up a bit because the really dirty part's done now. And finish our beer. We're all finished now. So after I used the chemical, my foam cannon decided not to work. Ask me how much I love foam cannons. I hate them. So I hand washed instead, and that's pretty much it. Spray it down, let it soak 10 minutes, rinse it again, wash it, and you're done. Even the frame now is cleaned off. This is the safest way to get the salt off of your vehicle and to ensure, even on the frame, that you're not going to cause rust through the years. Because in Indiana, salt life means road salt, not the beach. Obviously, this isn't the only way you can desalt. There's plenty of other ways. This is just what I've found is the most effective and safest on ceramic. If you disagree or have any other ideas, comments, please let me know. Thanks for watching.